Right. And Mike Sterling, our Mad Bomber and I are now live. We've got breaking news out of South Florida. Somebody sent some white powder to Donald Trump Jr.'s home with a death threat. I'm going to pull the death threat up quickly so y'all can see it. Mike, you've read through this. Comment on this for me.
Okay, so we've got somebody here who definitely has a problem with the Trumps. Lee Oswald's grandson must complete his contract. All right. Got a definitely problem with the Trumps. Newsom is laughing his ass off. Problem with the Trumps. Problem with the Trumps. Problem with the Trumps. More problems with the Trumps. But let's see. Towards the bottom third, he and his family to become citizens of the Soviet Union. Yep, it still exists. Says to me this person's over 40 years old because a lot of people just don't even know who the freaking Soviet Union is anymore.
Okay.
More problems with the Trumps. Yeah, this guy's got issues. You are muted. You're muted.
Yeah, we were getting some notes that there was an echo, so I was just messing around with the settings to see if I could fix that. So we've got a bunch of notes off in the sidebar from people talking shit. I'm going to say this once and once only. Talk shit, get banned. Simple as that. Our channel is not a soapbox for idiots to profess bullshit. So it's up to you whether you want to stay on our channel or not. With regards to this breaking news, here's a picture that was taken at the entrance to Donald Trump Jr.'s home. This is the hazmat team in South Florida. As Mike noted, the letter that came with the powder is obviously somebody who's mentally deranged. We have been predicting for upwards of a year now that we're going to see assassination attempts on Donald Trump and his family. And here we go. Now we're going to kick that off. Also breaking news today was a story out of Russia that the Ukrainians paid a Russian to plant a bomb under Tucker Carlson's car while he was in Russia. No way to verify the authenticity of that. But the ironic thing is earlier today, I was watching a Tucker interview and thought to myself, they're going to try to take him out, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, because the establishment just can't stand the thought of these guys speaking the truth and any of them getting back in power. So getting off that soapbox, Mike, the details we've got say that there was white powder. And you made a comment on that with regards to anthrax, because people are claiming that this is, or somebody online is claiming it's potentially anthrax. You're an expert in this area. Give me your thoughts on that.
So I'm not really an expert on the bio side, and anthrax, Bacillus anthrax is a spore. It's one of the largest little agents out there, and as a matter of fact, it's usually naturally occurring, unless it is an anthrax that was cooked in a lab, which means it was not grown in soil.
Okay.
Right. And most anthrax that's out there, even in labs, is grown in soil because it's a spore. So actually, like naturally grown anthrax and the like, anything that's been grown in soil, it's not white, it's brown. Okay. Now that you get very small quantities of the stuff that are white, all right, but that's stuff that's basically test tube grown, and that is a very difficult process. So I would be willing to bet hard money that this guy just poured a bunch of talcum powder into the thing. Maybe I don't know if it's Gold Bond or if it's baby powder, but you tell me.
Well, so again, we have no way to verify the authenticity of it, but there are other people on X reporting that the hazmat team tested it and it is a volatile chemical or bioagent, but not saying what it is. But the original suggestion was that it was anthrax. So if it was, let's just say for argument's sake, it was anthrax and it was white, that would probably indicate that a more sophisticated party created it, correct?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can answer this question or not, but maybe you can. So we've been told multiple times by people on the inside, including Jeff MD, former CIA operative, that the Russians have a formula for anthrax that is 100% antibiotic resistant. Would that formula potentially be white, or would that also be grown in soil and have a, yellow brown tinge to it?
I mean, we had the exact same thing. They've got it because they got it from us.
Okay.
Again, it all depends on where it was grown.
Okay.
All right. Because anthrax being a spore, it is a live item, right? Again, it depends on where it was produced. And if you're producing it in test tubes, that shows if you can actually get it there, you're that 1% that can actually do that, then that shows a distinct level of sophistication. I mean, it's possible, yeah, but the Russians don't go for anthrax anymore. If you see Vasily Navalov, I think his name was. I may be screwing it up. I've been drinking already tonight. He was killed. The Russians are in love with fourth generation nerve agents, the Novichoks. That's how they kill people. They don't do this sort of thing. Which again, just having done responses to stuff like this, 99.9% of the time it's going to be talcum powder of some kind. Now whether it had something else mixed in with it, I don't know.
So the other agents that you just mentioned, what would the medium be that they would be delivered in that the Russians like to use?
So the Novichoks are incredibly deadly, and they'll if they're gonna hit you with some of that stuff, they're not going to ship it in a powdered form.
Okay.
All right.
Normally
they'll have like a 1/10 of a milligram or something at the end of a needle. Okay. Tap you with a needle and you're done. You may as well hang it up. So yeah, the Novichoks, this is out of that league. Now, here's the one thing that I do see very, very interesting. This is something that you and I were actually discussing the other day. And we were talking about the parallels between this year and 1968 with the Days of Rage. And the funny thing is, the Democratic National Convention is going to be in Chicago again this year, just like it was in 1968. So 1968, you had a lot of bombings. You had a lot of assassination attempts. You had threats. You had riots. I'm seeing 1968 all over again. Deja vu, even.
Well, I mean, we were both born in '69, so kind of like deja vu, just different, right?
Yeah, but it's deja vu all over again.
So I'm trying to keep my feed refreshed here on Twitter. I just got an update here from Raw Alerts, and it says multiple fire trucks and personnel in hazmat suits have been spotted outside Donald Trump Jr.'s home in Jupiter, Florida, on Monday evening after he received a letter containing an unidentified white powder, according to 3 sources familiar with the matter. Trump Jr., the eldest son of former President Donald Trump, opened the envelope, causing the white powder to fly out, as reported by one of the sources. A representative for the former president's son, stated that it remains unclear what exactly the substance was, but confirmed that Trump Jr.'s life does not appear to be in danger. So that would potentially add credence to your suggestion, Mike, that it's probably something just to scare them with, right? Talcum powder, gold bond, something along those lines.
Yeah, more than likely. And, you get a lot of these incidents. Now, they're going to wind up going on ahead and giving him the tier 1 or the initial step of treatment for this from a medical standpoint while the testing goes through, because of course, Secret Service is going to go ahead and they're going to package some of this stuff up and it's going to get shipped up to Fort Detrick, and it's going to get tested big time in Fort Detrick. It'll probably get tested at CDC in Atlanta again too, but it's going to get tested a billion times over, and somebody's going to go, it is or it isn't.
Okay. I see a couple people in the chat off to the side are suggesting that it's potentially fentanyl. And, we don't have enough information to make that determination at this point, but fentanyl has to be absorbed through a membrane. So, believe it or not, the most vulnerable membrane is your eyes, followed by your nose and mouth, or an open cut. Probably a good time to mention for those of you who have a comprehensive EDC bag, go to nextdistro.org, nextdistro.org, pick your state, put your information in. They will send you 2 boxes of Narcan that have 2 doses in each box at the maximum strength of 4 milligrams. When we did the test on this, I filled the form out on a Sunday. And they were in my mailbox by noon on Tuesday. So good idea to have Narcan just in case something like this is fentanyl.
So on the fentanyl note, also, he would have started seeing symptoms immediately.
Right.
Yeah. So we've already determined just by the fact that he didn't see any symptoms, and when he opened it, it poofed some up. If it poofed some up, he would have been bit at that point, and he would have started having symptoms at that point. Period.
So that's a good point, Mike. We've seen plenty of reports that our friends in law enforcement have had exposure to fentanyl, and not to discount their anxiety, but typically the reports that I've read say that the person's anxiety level went off the deep chart, which meant that their heart rate was elevated. That is not fentanyl poisoning. Fentanyl poisoning causes a decrease in your heart rate, decrease in oxygen to the brain, and that's how it kills you. So if somebody suspects that they've been exposed to fentanyl and they've ingested it through a membrane, you'll feel intoxicated, like you're fixing to fall down. And that's why it's so important to have fentanyl in your EDC bag, because the country's absolutely being flooded with it. What are your thoughts on this potentially being fentanyl? Probably not, right? Because they said he's okay, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, now that don't think that's not in the realm of possibility. I mean, that's actually, well, again, I've been drinking tonight, so I mean that actually would have been a better one than anthrax. Let's face it, anthrax takes what, like 20 days to kill you, something like that, and usually you have to ignore it in order to do that. Come on. So yeah, fentanyl's a whole lot better. Fentanyl will kill you a lot quicker.
So on the anthrax side of things, Mike, my understanding is that once you reach a certain point, there's no return from anthrax poisoning, whether it's antibiotic resistant or not.
Right.
I'm sure it depends on the dosage and how the exposure happened, but what would that time frame look like? Are you talking a matter of minutes, hours,
I
days?
seem to remember that's like close to like a week, like 5 to 7 days, something like it. It's a while.
What are the symptoms of anthrax, just because we're on that topic?
Okay, so you can get anthrax in a number of different ways. Let me go back here. Because let's face it, it's been a long time since I screwed around with anthrax, folks. Okay, so pulmonary, gastrointestinal, or cutaneous. All right. Thank God I had 15 minutes to go back to my old notes. So pulmonary, you breathe it in, right? Gets into your lungs, gets into your alveoli, locks into there, and then that begins the anthrax infection going on in there. Gastrointestinal, you eat it. It does this virtually the same thing, except it's working on you through your small intestine.
Okay.
And then cutaneous, got to get it in through a cut or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good to know. I see a number of comments on X right now. Like I said, I'm trying to keep my feed refreshed. That there's quite a few people saying it's not a stretch to imagine that there would be attempts on Donald Trump's life and his family. Do they not have somebody scanning their mail, which would seem to be the judicious thing to do?
So, as former president, Trump gets full Secret Service protection. Okay, so all his mail gets swept, everything like that. Now, when he left the White House, he extended his Secret Service protection to also include his adult children. Okay, because of crap like this.
Okay.
Now they only get very limited protection, so those folks will only have a couple of agents on at any given time. They can't cover the mail other than to find a box, and the box says, this box has greasy spots on it and it's ticking.
Right.
Yeah, they're there for bullets, not for bio.
Gotcha. Spoken
Yeah.
like a true bomb tech, by the way, or bomb technician.
I'm just saying, that's just the way it is. So, so they have, while they do have they do have protection, they have limited protection.
Okay.
Because there's only so many Secret Service agents available to begin
with. Somebody else, Bluey, commented that February 2018, DJT Jr.'s wife had a white powder incident. I have a vague recollection of hearing that. User Lynn Henry, I have heard that Narcan does not work on fentanyl. You heard wrong, Lynn.
Heard wrong.
Fentanyl is a synthetic opiate, and Narcan is the fix. So wherever you got your information, somebody gave you bad information. That is just not the case. What else do we have here in the comments section? The polarization in the U.S. is off the charts. Yes, it is. And we can thank our foreign adversaries for that, for pitting us against each other and convincing the low information people in our society that there are things like 378 genders and that kind of baloney, which of course,
we're talking about a complete replay of 1968.
Right.
Thanks, Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah. So I'm still seeing a couple of reports on echoes. Anybody hearing an echo? If so, please put it in the comment section. We just switched software. We're using a new piece of software for doing live broadcasts as well as recorded sessions as well. This is 100% live at this time at 9:02 p.m. Eastern time on 2/26. But I would like to know if we're getting any echo still. Apparently, when stereo is on, it results in more echo on this software, which we're using Streamlabs now.
Okay, yeah, exactly. And we're trying to break in this new software, so bear with us, everybody. Hey, I've got another one here, and you and I discussed this previously. Saturday morning, here in my state of Alabama, somebody detonated an improvised explosive device outside of the office of the state attorney general. That was nice of them. And that's all because of the in vitro fertilization argument going on down here. That's a pain in the butt. I don't want to get into it, but again, we're looking at attempted assassinations and stuff. Now, I don't know why they would blow it up on a Saturday other than to send a message. But
right. I'm seeing some people on X commenting, why is Donald Trump Jr. cocaine trending at the same time? Let's be clear. We're discussing the real president's son, Donald Trump Jr., not Hunter Biden. So this is not.
I mean, he's got white powder too. You know, I mean, maybe he's calling up the Trumps right now, going, hey, I sent you the wrong package. Can I get that back?
Right. And there's of course the typical snipers are out calling Donald Trump Jr. a crybaby because he's scared of powder.
Obviously, you've never been in a live chemical or biological environment now, have you, there, tough guy?
Yeah, probably not. I'm looking to pick up some more breaking news on Times Now News, but it looks like the information that they have for their breaking news is what we've already covered. There was a letter sent to DJT Jr. He opened it. There was white powder in it, and there was a assassination letter, threatening letter that came with it, written by somebody who's clearly a mental case and or pretending to be a mental case.
Surprise!
Thank you to the people who responded that the audio is good now. Appreciate that. We'll make sure we save those settings so it doesn't happen again next time. David Smith has a question for you, Mike. What happened in 1968?
Oh, so 1968 was the Days of Rage, is what it was called, and there were there was a huge socio-political upheaval at that time. You had some nice people called the Weather Underground and the people that were in them were the weathermen. If you want to
Right.
look that up, that's really a lot of fun. They're just really sweet people. So you had them, you had the Black Panthers, you had everybody in their dog, really just basically doing exactly what's happening this year. Trying to influence political opinion and sway things in their way. There was lots of bombings. There was lots of attempted assassinations. There were quite a few assassinations. Yeah, I mean, it was bad. There were bombings and burnings galore. You had massive riots in Chicago because the Democratic National Convention was there, just like this year.
Right. And
Yeah.
we just saw that there was a issue between the mayor of Chicago and shot shooter, which is audio detection, because it's clearly it's a racist piece of software and hardware that picks up gunshots in the neighborhoods where there are constant shootings. I mean, that's a whole other kettle of fish that we won't get into right now.
It's shot spotter, not shot shooter.
Sorry, shot spotter. That's right.
Yep.
Sergeant Grizzle Grits says hi to us, Mike. Don't know who that is, but appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you following Survival Dispatch. We have a comment here from Weekend at Bernie's. I assume that's kind of cut off here. The Chinese are working just over the border with the cartel, making fentanyl, anthrax equals military industrial complex. Well, this is
catch
true.
up, man. We've been talking about that for months.
Yeah. We've been talking on that for a long time. So there are approximately 1,400 analogs for fentanyl. We have signatures on 200 of them. The raw ingredients are sent from China to the cartels in Mexico, and then it's smuggled across the border to here. And why is that? So the basic fentanyl is 50 times more powerful than heroin. So imagine the size of the container that you have to smuggle to get the same potency across the border. However, some of the analogs are significantly more powerful than the base fentanyl. Remifentanil, carfentanil, these sort of things are another 50 times more potent. So, you've taken a pallet down to something that you can fit in your hand that can be used to step on various drugs. And that's why we're seeing all these overdoses, because when you get to a certain strength at a very small size, the chances that you overdose one of your customers, and knock them off goes higher and higher and higher. Thank you, David Smith, for saying the audio is good in Florida. I think we got that nailed with this new software. So Boom Freaka, Mike, this is a topic you and I've spoke on, by the way. Boom Freaka, where's the 30,000 kilograms, so over 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate?
All right. Okay, so let's get into this. So 30,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate. Understand something. I'll say this again. Just because it's ammonium nitrate does not mean it is suitable to be changed into explosives. Very quietly, very subtly after the Oklahoma City bombing, I'll let you look that up on your own. Back then, industry quietly changed the formulary for synthetic ammonium nitrate fertilizer. You can't just mix some diesel in with it and make it go bang now. Okay? It still does everything that it's supposed to for your plants. Look at what is going on with the price of fertilizer. It's worth more as fertilizer than it is as an explosive. And there's way better explosive materials out there. So that's what I got to say about that without getting myself sent to jail.
Yeah. So for those people who are not familiar with our channel, and Mike in particular, 23-year master EOD tech in the Army, owns the oldest privately owned ordnance disposal company in the country, which he bought after he got out of the services, has all 10 fingers, which is a testament to his abilities. And speaking from somebody who works with him every single day, he never misses anything, which is obviously...
I miss things all the time. I miss the refill.
Not when you're focused. So Rodney, holy shit, is he okay? Yes, all reports are that he's okay. No confirmation of what the powder was. Robert Kimball, another product of the 60s, born in 1969. kind of ironic. The senior level of survival dispatch, myself being the CEO, Mike, Keith Graves from Christian Warrior Training, who's part of our family now. We're all products of 1969. So yes, we're old.
Dude, I'm scrolling up and Sooner, you're killing me here, man. This is killing me. Bet the FBI won't be able to find this jackwagon, but they were able to locate and raid the house of a Purple Heart recipient who was recovering from surgery just because he was in D.C. on J6. Man, you say the quiet parts out loud. I love it. But to find them, they'd actually have to go looking. So, and we're pretty sure that they're just not going to do that. Oh, Archangel. Fox News said it was nothing serious. Bless your heart.
Yeah, and you know, we don't have confirmed reports of what the substance was, and maybe it wasn't harmful, but the fact still matters is that, you know, somebody's trying to sow chaos here, scare the shit out of Trump and his family. Not something that any of us would want to receive in the mail, especially, you know, those of us who don't have, you know, the hazmat teams on speed dial. So,
I mean, I got the hazmat gear right here.
Yeah. Brett Kell, think it was all the exotic animal trophy spirits or DJT's crushed Adderall. He's calling him a douchebag.
Maybe it's an envelope full of crushed Adderall powder.
Yeah. So let me just find that over here on the other one. Cover me for a second, Mike, while I find this clown on my second laptop here.
All right. Hey, kids of the 60s, unite, guys. Hey, Discipline 1. That's right, man. Indian Head, University of Bombs and Bullets.
Right.
Yep. Indian Head campus. 1994.
Just cover me for a couple more seconds here.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Scroll through this on my secondary laptop.
Hey, Semper Fi, man, we're here for you guys, man. Again, everybody just deal with me because, you know, like I said, I've been drinking, so.
That never happens.
Okay, we get it. He's all right. Can we move on to something else? Well, I mean, come on. We have moved on to something else. Pay attention.
All right. So it looks
Boom
like
Freaka. Come on, man.
Yeah. So it looks like that Brett clown, the channel filters looked after it, but if not,
Dakota Tango, postal inspector should be on that. Keywords should be. Is a government employee. If he was good at his job, he wouldn't be working for the government. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Semper Fi, you're welcome. Chris and Mike, thank you for helping keep people educated and informed on current events, what to expect and how to be prepared. We appreciate it. Thank you. Barry Happy says probably a peekaboo or Fanny or Nasty Nikki. Yeah. Stray Kitten commented on
Nikki crushing up her own Adderall. I'll get that bastard. I need to drink more water, man.
Stray Kitten is responding to the report that the Ukraine paid a guy to potentially set a car bomb off on Tucker Carlson while he was there. You okay?
Oh. Casey, send it. God, I love you. If it came USPS, I'm surprised it didn't get lost. But this has probably been in the mail for 6 months, you know?
Thumb Ugly is commenting that Fox News is controlled op 100% on that. Yeah. Just part of the mainstream media.
Oh, Casey, man, you killed me, man. That's great. I love it. David Smith wasn't on my local news or ABC Evening with David Muir.
It happened this evening. So the last refresh I did on X is saying that this was an hour and a half ago, something like that. So possibly a little bit more than that, maybe even like 2 or 3 hours. There is a really interesting picture here showing the response.
As far as you know, this is water.
Right. Remember when we were kids, it was against a lot to consume alcohol while you were on TV.
Right.
Building Castles has Naxalone here in my trauma bag and Cipro. Good deal. It's good to be prepared. Better to be prepared and not need it than to not be prepared and need it for sure. All right. So I'm not seeing anything else pop up on X. I don't imagine we'll get any results until the morning as far as lab testing of what the powder was. Even if it's something that is not deadly, again, this is, clearly an attempt to further divide the nation, create fear on Donald Trump's side of the equation with his family, which is bullshit. It's always these crackpots on the left that do this shit. And then they try to, make it look like it's somebody else. So we're not sure what that freeze frame is, a discipled one. I'm seeing a little bit of it as well from Mike's feed. Brand new software. We're just getting familiar with it. We've got to get the settings tweaked. I think we got the sound fixed, but the video doesn't look at the quality that it should be either. So I have to look into that as well. Johnny Midnight Marxists are ruthless. Yes, they are. David Smith, when did this happen? It happened this evening.
Minutes ago.
Yeah, sometime within the past half hour or 3 hours, I would say, is a safe assumption.
Which is why we're sitting here going breaking news.
So you should be opening Survival Dispatch News with that sound effect. So the reports say it was this evening. So assuming that it was after 6 or 7 p.m., but we don't have a firm time on that. We know it's fairly recent. It's been trending on X, aka Twitter, for a couple hours now, which is when I first noticed it. And Mike and I decided that we would do this live broadcast to clue people into this stuff. But I'm afraid that's all we have for information at this point in time. We appreciate you all following Survival Dispatch, and we will catch you on Wednesday with our next episode of Survival Dispatch, which was pre-recorded on gangs infiltrating the country from the southern border, getting organized here, and the things that they're doing. It's if you're on X and you scroll through, in 10 minutes I picked out something like 20 attacks by illegals, and now of course we have the murder of Laken Riley. Should have never happened. That guy was in the country, kicked out of the country for criminal behavior, snuck back in again, and then murdered an innocent girl in Athens, Georgia at UGA. We'll have more comments on that on Wednesday's episode of Survival Dispatch News. And that's it. Have a good night,
Robert.
Mike.
Robert, let's do a quick show. Again, I've been drinking. Robert Kimball, look at YouTube. There, Chris.
Okay.
Robert Kimball.
Wow.
You're the man. Thank you, dude.
Thank you, Robert.
Awesome.
That was very kind of you. Thank you very much.
That is awesome. We're going to get some extra drinks out of that.
Well, I don't know about that, but that was very nice, Robert. Robert Kimball sent $25.
That's awesome of you, man. Thank you.
It's much appreciated. I don't think a lot of people realize just how much money it costs to run Survival Dispatch. We have 19 people on our team. We produce and publish 64 videos a month. If you're interested in our gun content, by the way, go on over to Cloud Hub. It's an uncensored platform. We thought Rumble was going to be the Shazam. Turned out not so much once BlackRock and Vanguard took control of it. Everything we do here on YouTube, we have to be really careful what words we use. And even then, the AI still picks up on our content as being conservative in nature. And sometimes we get smacked down. Thor, so you consider X as a reliable news source. It's got nothing to do with X, moron. It's got everything to do with the people who are posting on X and who we trust and don't trust. So, if you don't want to believe it, that's fine. Don't come to our channel. Don't watch our content. We don't need people like you. Go back home and fantasize over Obama, okay? Because clearly that's the type of person that you are. All right, Mike. Over and out.
One of these days, Chris is going to sit down with somebody and learn how to share his feelings because he's keeping it all bottled up. It's awful to watch.
I've made tremendous progress.
Of course, yeah.
So,
Boris and Natasha. Okay, I'm good here.
Yeah. Hold on a second. There's one more ridiculous comment here. UFOs, no joke. Okay, I'll go snowflake then. No idea what that means.
Of course you will. Of course you will. Yeah.
Obviously, other people drinking, not just you. Okay. Yeah. Third time's the charm. That's it for this live broadcast. If we have more information tomorrow on what the powder was, we'll bring it to you. Appreciate everybody for following Survival Dispatch. Really appreciate Robert Kimball. That was very, very nice of you. Over and out.
Y'all be cool. Be safe out there.